Ah, yes. Welcome back to Highly Suspicious. Did the boys get suspicious this week? Well, of course they did. Very suspicious? Extremely suspicious? Potentially the most suspicious they've ever been. But don't take my word for it. Now reporting once again, live from the trap house.
It's so much
You'd
money.
have to be a swinger.
Well, yeah, you'd have to be a swinger.
No, it'd be like a straight guy working at a gay club. Where I
That
just would like play into it
Yeah.
just to get fat tips.
Yeah, but you gotta realize, swingers,
Pause.
they really hate a man alone. Just a man by himself.
Just a man.
What do they call them again?
They do, single or not, they called them single men.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
even if they do
that's like
have a
me
wife,
seeing
but their wife
somebody
just
with too many
doesn't
kids
care.
coming to work and
That's a
just being
smart-
like, fuck, breeder.
That's a smart title. Single man.
Just urchins.
Just an urchin.
They're treated so terribly.
Floating
They're
around.
not, like, allowed to do anything. You have to, like, stand in the middle of the room and just watch.
So a cuck.
You can't touch anyone, but people can touch you.
That's even worse than being a cuck.
Yeah.
I'm glad that's on.
If anyone's like, I want you to leave, you just have to. For any reason.
That's how society should work.
Yeah, if you
Yeah.
if you didn't bring your wife to the wife swap meet, then you can stay. But if somebody's like, get the fuck out of here, you gotta go. You didn't bring a wife. I mean, come on.
You're lower on the totem pole.
You're messing up the fucking ratio, dude.
Facts.
The fucking
So
ratio.
you can get ratioed in real life.
Yeah.
Only at a swingers
Only
meet.
at swinger.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Highly Suspicious Podcast with Louie and Preston. My name is Louie.
My name's Preston.
We're reporting once again live from the trap house. Back in the studio today, we got friend of the show, Jacky.
Hey.
When was the last time you were on that was the drinking episode of
Yeah, it was the first time I got blackout drunk since I was in college. I don't remember. I remember laying on the floor of your living room and looking at your girlfriend and being like, hey. And then nothingness.
God
Just
bless
eternal-
Canadian whiskey.
Yeah.
She says hi, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
And we also have a first timer on the show.
Oh, yeah.
We're popping in their cherry.
Hell yeah.
Pause.
Pause.
Quinten,
Quinten's my roommate.
welcome to the show.
We're old COVID roommates, reunited once again.
Usually
That's all things should be.
Usually when we have new first timers, me and Preston try to act like, normal motherfuckers.
Will that happen
Not
today?
weird and crazy as fuck, but because Jacky's here, it's kind of like, we're gonna act.
You're already predisposed.
Yeah.
Jackie often introduced me to individuals I would describe as weird and crazy. That's
Yeah.
kind of her thing.
That is kind of my thing. That is, in fact,
It
it's
really
really
is.
all I do.
It really is a weird thing to do to meet someone for the first time on the podcast, but we've done it a
So
lot.
many times, yeah. It's
It's
honestly,
always fun though.
Well, it's because we have control, so I think it's easier for me to just meet somebody I've never met before on the podcast, and I can just be like,
my show.
"Welcome to my domain."
Also, I'd vouch for this man.
Exactly.
He's very
You've been vouched
competent,
for.
very competent individual, an expert in
Many things.
many things.
I'm really kind of a renaissance man.
A Renaissance man puts
This
this
is,
quite
if
perfectly.
nothing, a podcast for Renaissance men.
This is you know what? I've never been able to describe it in a better way. Quinten was asking
It's
me.
going in the description.
Quinten asked me, what the hell is this thing, by the way, while we were
Exactly.
driving here, and I was like, well, it's just some guys going down, just some guys being dudes,
Just some
some
brews,
dudes being guys.
some rips.
Yeah, this is a podcast, not a broadcast. Am I right?
That's funny. That's a good one, Quinten. That's a good one, Quinten.
Did you have that written down before the show?
No, I just
No, Quinten's
Off the
actually
dome.
really good at off the dome stuff, and he's
Okay,
allowed
we
to
have
say
someone
that.
funny in the room. Finally, thank you God. Holy
Thank
shit.
Christ.
Me and Preston have been making 30 episodes in a season to try to make one cohesive joke.
Just the whole time. Yeah. Oh, no. It's, Quinten's probably the funniest guy I've ever known.
no, don't say that. That's horrible.
Why?
Don't.
Don't tell people
That's
that.
Are you one of the people that doesn't like getting bragged on?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does hate it. Anytime I'm like, this is my boy. Or like I introduce someone to him and I'm like, I told you about this guy, because I usually already have. And he gets very upset. He
I
doesn't
don't
like
like
it.
being talked
Gassed
about.
up.
Perceived.
Yeah, perceived generally.
It is a thing where it's like you're putting high expectations on someone when you brag on them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And then it's like, well,
If somebody hypes
what if
you
I
up,
don't tell another joke for the rest of the podcast?
Yeah.
And the whole audience is like, well, he's not as funny as Jacky told me he was.
This has happened to me before in many settings, but Quinten, he's a sure winner in this.
A blue chip token.
A blue
if you
chip.
will.
Yeah, a blue chip token. The first time I ever met the man, we were just in a car going to Iowa. So we were in a car for like 12 hours.
fuck yeah.
First thing the guy ever said to me was like, you know who's a really good president?
Fuck yeah.
Richard Nixon.
I love the man.
And I was like, are you kidding? Like, what are you? And he was like,
How
nah, man,
so?
EPA. He said a bunch of other bullshit. And I was
EPA.
like,
Great point.
EPA, Title IX, fucking OSHA, right?
yeah.
Literally OSHA.
Honestly, I think that's a big part of it. It like the only argument for Nixon is that a president actually made shit happen.
And they hated him for
Crazy.
it.
They hate.
Nobody's ever done that.
They crucified him. He was Christ on the cross. I swear to God.
See, this is
America's
around.
Jesus
I would-
is Richard
I would
Nixon.
like to add another point to the pro Nixon camp, although I'm not necessarily agree that I like Nixon. I think one of the things that he did when he was in office was he got us off of the gold standard, which basically
I know so much about this, but yeah, go on.
which basically means that people are like, well, money isn't even really worth anything. It's just worth shit because people say it's worth shit.
Facts.
Before, when we were on the gold standard, our dollar was a fixed rate on gold, and the U.S. had, this much gold. And basically, Nixon got pissed because other countries kept stealing all of our gold. They kept buying all of our gold because
Because we kept going to war.
Yeah.
Because of 2 wars. Because we went into Korea, and then we went into Nam, and they were both really expensive, and we didn't actually have the money to pay for
Or
it.
really do anything.
Yeah, we didn't even win either. Of
Yeah,
those.
exactly.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
They stole a ton of our gold, and we didn't even win. And Nixon was like, "This is stupid. We're just gonna do whatever now."
What if we didn't use gold?
And
That's
fuck
the value of our
you.
efforts.
But and it is such an American perspective of like, we're just gonna fucking do our own thing now, you guys. But it's kind of crazy that like the rest of the world just kind of followed us into doing the same thing.
Well, and realize, so basically what happened is America was turned from being a debtor nation.
Mhm.
Well, basically what happened is we turned around and turned ourselves into creditors, or into debtors. Basically, other countries would buy our national debt
Yeah.
in order to basically ameliorate all these dollars they were collecting through international trade, because they used to just convert them to gold and then they put gold in the central bank, but they can't do that anymore because the dollar's not fixed to gold, so they have to collect dollars in their central bank, and then they use that to buy U.S. Treasury IOUs. I wrote a very long book about this.
You wrote a book about this?
I read a very dry, horrible book about it.
Oh, you read a good book about it.
Yeah.
I thought you said you wrote a book.
No,
My
no.
mind was about to be fucking blown. I was like,
I would love to, but
Do it then.
basically, so when we create national debt here, other countries are buying that debt.
Yeah.
And so we just have like a credit card.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Everyone has to do what we want because we have just the best, like, super platinum credit card that's ever existed. It's
We also
dope.
have like all the fucking banks, and
We
the
do.
fact that the American dollar is like the standard for all other currencies in the world is insane.
Most of the world's gold is in a bank in the below the New York Federal Reserve. And after 9/11, people were like, "Oh my God, did the terrorists blow up all of our gold? Is the gold
That would be
safe?"
insane.
The fact that you made that beeping noise and talked about something blowing up right there, people are gonna think I edited that in, and they're gonna think I'm fucked up because I'm making a joke.
You're
out of
gaslighting them.
Like I
But he
didn't
made a
do
terrorism
that.
joke.
So I had to say something there.
Yeah, it's his watch. It goes. When does it go off?
Every hour.
Every hour.
Every
yeah.
hour on the hour.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
pretty good.
Is it a reminder to do something?
No,
or-
I don't know how to make it stop.
See, I like it though because
It's
I'll
like
be
a church bell.
I'll
Yeah.
be sitting with Quinten and I'll hear it go off and I'm like, okay, that's like the second time I've heard it go off since I've sat down and started watching Family Guy with Quinten.
Nice.
We should
So-
I should get up, maybe stretch a little bit, drink
Crazy.
some water.
So it drags you out of that dissociation.
Yeah,
that
see,
is
this
associated
is
with binging Family Guy.
this is me and Quinten's relationship. He's capable of telling you about the gold standard and like the
Money matter mindset, baby.
money matter
Wow.
mindset and all this kind of stuff. Well, I'm like, I've been watching so much motherfucking Family Guy, man.
It's good.
I've been
I'm
watching
Family
King's
Guy
Hill.
pilled.
I'm on a
You've been
King of the Hill binge.
pilled?
King of the Hill's pretty good.
King of the Hill is pretty good.
Iconic.
It's but no, we're watching that old Family Guy when
The
they're like,
prime time.
why are we going to Iraq? And it's like, damn, was this the only guy saying this? What the hell's
But-
going on
You
here?
know.
I mean, there were other. There were many other people doing it.
Most
but-
prominent though.
well,
Maybe.
I loved that Family Guy sketch where they're in a sinking ship and the water's rising and Peter's like, I have one thing to confess. I didn't like The Godfather.
Wow.
And the whole family's berating like, you don't like The Godfather?
Hot take.
And he's like, it insists upon itself. And everyone's like, what does that even mean?
I think I know what that means.
I
that
think
makes
I also
sense.
know what that means, but I'm still like, I'm not like
You know
a
when something
fool that's
is- I
like
haven't
The
seen it,
Godfather
though.
bad.
I
It's
think when-
crazy.
like creative shit is hyping itself up, it's kind of bullshit, you know? Like when they're fucking ego stroking in the script about how grandiose and fantastic the film is, or like literature or whatever the fuck, it comes across as pretentious. I think that's basically what the fuck.
How does something become pretentious for you guys? Like, art-wise? Like, what makes something pretentious to you guys?
Sometimes the most obvious way I could say is when shit's too meta. When it's like, look at how meta we are. Look at how fucking crazy and kooky we can be and fucking squeeze all this references and shit into the fucking script.
I don't think that's necessarily pretentious because, like, I think Monty Python does that. And
I think a lot of British comedy is kind of pretentious.
It's bad. It's mostly bad.
Yeah.
They don't know what they're doing, man. It's crazy. It's like
Weirdo Brits.
They wouldn't know a joke if it landed on their face and started flapping around. Like,
yes.
I think that like most of Europe is not funny, and
No.
the reason
it's really not.
the reason is because all the funny people left. Like Australians, funny. Americans, funny. Canadians, pretty funny.
They're pretty.
Yeah.
You
fucking
go to
funny.
Mexico, there's some funny guys down
Yeah.
there.
For sure.
But in Europe,
They sent
everybody left.
all funny people were in debt, you see, because they were too funny and constantly insulting like nobles, and they would get sent to the various colonies to work as like colonial labor, and then before you knew it, all the comedians have been shipped away,
Yeah.
and now you just like in Spain, comedies like. I'm going to go take a nap.
Yeah.
You guys with me? And then they go take a nap,
Well,
and
I
they're
think
like, "Hello."
part of it is that all the fucking pores had to leave
oh, that's
Europe.
true.
And trauma equals, like, with time,
That's so true.
equals character, you know? I think that's the real issue with
Well-
European comedy, is it doesn't have any fucking character.
And the thing is, like, the Germans were the worst about it. They
Yeah,
said, like, this is a mostly German country, you know, especially here in the Midwest. And it's like, of course, you know, they send all these guys over here. There's nobody funny left in the whole damn country.
There
It's
is
the most dry, psychotic
It is
people.
probably true that some of the funniest people are going to, like, Los Angeles and shit. Because that's the center of shit. You're not gonna make it as a comedian in fucking Brisbane or something like that.
Yeah.
Alright, you can. There's some pretty big Australian guys that then do the Japanese circuit.
That's true. I do think Australian guys.
It's
are
really just like the crowds. They just don't got it. They
really
have.
don't.
There's something happened. Some sort of thing happened.
Some horrible thing.
That made them all very too self-conscious to ever even have the critical thinking to imagine something like a joke, because they believe it culturally in their hearts, and they know that the last time any crowd decided to try and use his imagination, something terrible happened.
Yeah.
So like, instead they're like, it's not our fault.
I saw a video the other day that was like from the 60s where some comedian was doing a tour through Europe, and they're in Germany, and they got the entire room to do a Nazi salute. Like, they were sort of doing a bit, and they just plugged the word Zeal, and they immediately clicked back in.
They're robots.
There's
There's
terrifying
no
people.
over there.
Now, our next bit along these lines, let's talk about the Portuguese. Now,
Perfect.
really, they're just the Irish of the Iberian Peninsula.
Facts.
Many people have said this. The problem is, unlike the Irish, they went all across the globe to establish like 2 square miles worth of colonial properties, but somehow killed like 50 million people in the process to secure 2 miles of property. It's crazy. What happened? Why were they going anywhere? Who are these people?
I often think about what the world would be like if Islam and Christianity weren't the 2 major religions of the entire fucking world, and if paganism had taken over that shit.
Yeah, I mean,
unfortunately,
in certain ways, paganism has been adopted into
it's weird because there's like a renewal. Yeah, and
so
a lot of this
with a lot of like the cultures over time, like there's different cultures. I feel like for the same shit. Like a lot of these religions have a lot of shit in common with each other.
I think saints are like the biggest fucking reason that Christianity was able to do so much fucking work,
people really
like groundwork, because they were just like, name this fucking religious figure for whatever your weird fucking nature-based religion is, and let's just call him a saint who did like some Christian things.
It's like shonen, you know. It's like Monster of the Week. Everybody
then,
gets their own little guy.
And then once they finished getting all the old little guys and recasting them as good saintly little guys, they then just did this thing where they'd go around and like any like absolute dipshit that just eats shit, like a tree limb falls on him while he's like praying or something. Saint. They're like saint, killed by the devil, killed by the devil. He's a saint. He healed someone's elbow. And
honestly,
religion is the original stand culture.
Yeah, and then every town would get to have their little guy. Every town would have like it's our saint.
And that's all.
He got ran over by a wagon.
If you think about all the denominational shit,
a satanic wagon.
That is the real difference. Is this is a guy that I think my guy is Jesus, and he was God, and he was doing all this stuff, and he was preaching the good word, whatever. You go to 2 people of different religions, and you're like, okay, what's the core idea? What's the message? Oh, well, be good to each other. Don't steal. Treat others the way you want to be treated. There's a higher power that created shit.
I like that in a lot of like anarchist, socialist, like meme accounts, there's this whole thing of Jesus really being like a Middle Eastern, brown man who was anti-establishment, friends with the homeless, friends with fucking prostitutes.
He was woke.
Fucking a rebel, literally woke as fuck. Woke back before woke existed.
They canceled him for
They
it. too.
canceled
Yeah.
him
They put
on
him
the
up there.
cross.
They
And he
canceled
said,
him
you
on
know
the
what?
cross.
I'm coming back, bitches.
Yeah, if Jesus was alive today, they would have called him a libtard. And they would have said, get out of here.
Jesus got his account unbanned.
I-
He came back and then
Are-
deleted his account.
This is the most incendiary shit we've ever talked about.
Perfect.
And I love as soon as Jacky enters the chat, it's just like, it's immediate.
Let's go for it.
Because, like, last week we were talking about some conspiracy shit, but I think with me and Preston do a good job of treading on the waters of, like,
Yeah, we
you know,
kind of...
not pissing anybody off.
We try to be centered. We try to be
being-
based.
Being, yeah, always
Look,
looking at it.
all of the things
perspectives.
we're saying about Christ
It's
are
true.
positive.
It's
Our
fucking
foot.
true.
Are facts and positive.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Let me tell you something.
I love Christ.
It's only a really hot take, like a scalding hot take, if it's not fucking true and you don't make it funny. Alright? Everything else is within range.
Yeah, this is all jokes, guys.
Let's
That's-
talk.
That's what Caroline says to me every time she says some backhanded ass shit. She's like, I was joking, chill. She only says that when it's, well, this entire podcast is a joke. Don't take us too seriously.
With the state of the world, I think one thing we really need is we need Jesus to come back. We need
I am waiting for the rapture.
Look.
Like, for real. As a non-religious person, I'm like, you know what? Let's get it over with. If it's not gonna be nukes, let it be fucking hellfire.
It's coming.
we got a
It's
lot of
coming.
problems, and I think if we all just pin them on one fucking guy,
This is
it will
Quinten's
solve
best
all
take.
of our problems.
No lie.
And then kill them and just move on.
Just
And
move on.
move
We
on from all
find
of our
we
problems.
just find a guy
Okay.
and it's somewhere, just some guy.
Who's the scapegoat? Who are we scapegoating all the problems?
I
of
think it
humanity
has to literally be like the ultimate lottery. Like you gotta win like your country's
no.
lottery, and then like
the lottery, like the short story where they pick someone to get killed. That's
yeah,
exactly
but
what
I
it is.
mean like straight up.
Pick names out of the hat, like the
Just a
draft.
German guy who perhaps is on vacation in a Middle Eastern country right now,
Yeah.
and just like grab him,
Some
throw him up there, be
some
like, this
German
guy
from
did
Argentina, possibly.
it. Yeah.
I think it's got to be like our wokest guy. I think
The
like
wokest.
Sean King, Leonardo DiCaprio.
Leo.
Mr.
One of these
Leo.
famously
guys.
woke Leonardo.
Make it into a movie, maybe you'll finally get an award.
Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah,
That's
Mark
a good
Ruffalo would totally
Wait,
do
wait,
it if
wait.
you asked
Mark
him.
Ruffalo.
He would be like, I
Wait.
will solve all the problems.
so do
if
it.
Wait, hear me out. Chris Pratt.
That would be an ultimate
Would
role.
we be okay with that? I think society would be able to just move
Chris
past
Pratt in the role of a lifetime.
it.
Just yeah, we would make it a movie. We'd sacrifice that guy, and everyone would
Yeah.
go, all right, it was that guy's fault. Everything that's happened in the last 50 years
I
is
do.
that guy's fault.
I do like it, like the idea of it being like everyone on Earth picks a number, and everyone agrees to it because you know your odds are pretty good of not being the 1 in 8 billion people that are picked to be the scapegoat of humankind.
Humankind.
Yeah, so
Facts.
you just kind of bet that like it'll be someone you don't know.
Mhm.
It won't be you, obviously, but it'll
No.
definitely not be someone you know.
It could be someone you know.
But it,
Shit.
it won't.
Statistically,
Statistically, they'd be Indian.
It's also got to be somebody who's had like a fall from grace, maybe. Someone who
Oh.
was woke and was popular has fallen from grace. Like a Bill Maher.
Oh God.
Bill,
Bill
yeah.
fucking hard.
That'd
That'd be perfect.
All right,
I love that.
can we do a vote that it's Bill Maher?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bill Maher would be
Officially,
great.
Bill Maher will pay for the sins of man.
Yeah, we just
'Cause-
get him out there.
Because he's representative of humankind. I
Yeah.
feel like.
He's something. Quinten's always trying to get me to watch Bill Maher. I
He's
don't like
fun-
watching
he's
Bill
funny.
Maher.
insane.
He's
Like
good at jokes.
he is funny, but it's also one of those
I don't
things
think
where
it's funny.
being a host is a skill, and so he's good at being the asshole as an intermediary. Like he's good at just being like, you know what? shut the fuck up. Because this is my show, and I want to hear what they have to say.
Okay, but why does anyone care what he has to say? He's just some weird
not what he
guy.
has to say. What his guest has to say.
Exactly.
I'm mainly there for the guest.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. I think all late night television is pretty bad.
Yeah.
It's very
I do feel
lowbrow.
like
I
Fuck
only
Stephen
consume.
Colbert.
I only consume highbrow entertainment. I'm
Such as
watching-
Family Guy.
such as Family Guy, American Dad, Bob's Burgers. I've been watching The Great North, which is the Bob's Burgers side project, their side hustle.
Interesting.
It's pretty good.
I
Pretty
hate
good.
Bob's
Pretty good.
Burgers.
That sucks.
Yikes.
That sucks, buddy.
I hate Bob's Burgers.
Sorry, man. I'm sorry you don't have joy or comfort.
The
in
show
your
or-
life.
I don't have a lot of it.
The show, or you hate like his burgers? Like,
Damn. They do have a cookbook.
It's a wonderful program that teaches you that it's okay to feel like a failure all the time. Sorry, I'm unemployed. Hey,
I'm unemployed.
potential
Me living vicariously through Bob's Burgers.
potential podcast listener employers. Ask for my resume. They'll give it to you. Please. I'm so sad.
you should put your podcasts on your resume. I do this all the time. It works great for me.
This is not true.
Put
I
anything
know
on your
your
resume.
LinkedIn.
Put
I'm
literally
pretty
anything on your
LinkedIn
resume.
till right
You guys
now.
think I should put that on my resume? Professional podcast.
Yeah.
hoster?
Put
Yeah.
you mowed a lawn once on your resume. They love that shit.
They do love that shit. They do love knowing that shit. I just look, man, getting a job's so hard right now.
It's some bullshit.
I don't know what they did. What happened? Why can't I just go? What? Not to get all boomer on
No.
on anyone, but why can't I walk into a guy's place and be like, "Hey, give me a job, slick." I could use my fast talk on him.
They always do that in the movies. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
Like if you're like an alien or like somebody from the future going into the past, they just walk into a newspaper shop and they're like, I like you, kid.
I saw this.
Here's
thing.
$5 and a nickel an hour.
Like every movie.
Bugs.
Yeah.
Every movie that's been made, like recently, like the past couple years, has either taken place before 1990 or like at least 2,000 years in the future,
Mm-hmm.
because no one wants to deal
Be
with.
here.
Huh?
Yeah.
Be
Well,
here in
it's
this
no one
dysphoria.
wants to have to screenwrite people using a cell phone, or like you can't
It
really
is
write a
fucking
story.
lame.
Yeah.
You can't write a story without like, why don't they just call 911? Everyone has one.
A
You
lot
got
of-
it right there.
Because the murderer fucking disconnected the fucking satellite? I don't know.
I don't.
A
Yeah.
lot of times I feel like they operate in this like abstract time period where they're not like, oh, it's 1977, and they're just like, ambiguous to what the fuck technology they have just to fit whatever plot that they have.
See, the real way to do it, which is what they do in IPs like Cyberpunk,
Mm-hmm.
is you just have it in there anyway. You just have the fact that you can call someone in there anyway, but just like make the world so shitty
Yeah.
that like you could be like, help, I'm being murdered, and it's
Honestly,
like who.
No, it's
No one cares.
Honestly, the way Cyberpunk works, it would literally just be like, I'm sorry, but you're not paying for the police platinum membership, and so you'll be like the 100th person to be responded to.
I love libertarianism. I love.
Oh my god, my dad's a libertarian.
Oh, that's pretty fun.
I didn't know that.
I love calling the independent defense contractor in my neighborhood area district and asking him what the rate is because somebody's broken into my home, and he
Hey
says,
dude, somebody stole all my shit. How much do I have to pay you to basically bounty hunter that shit and get my shit back?
that, or like they're in there, they're saying they're gonna kill me. What's the rate for coming and
yeah,
stopping
save my
him?
life. real
And
quick.
they're like, we're actually quite busy right now. There seems to be several of these kinds of home invasions going on. And with your bronze membership, I'm sorry, but you are last in line. So we are sending a team. Once they get through about 2 different home invasions, they will be there to you. Estimated wait time, a half hour.
Honestly, the most impressive thing that Cyberpunk did, in my opinion, is making insurance fucking worse than it already is.
Yeah, that is real hard.
Isn't there a fucking insurance in like GTA now?
Huh?
GTA 5?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
You
Because
can-
it's like,
for
you
your
go to the
car.
hospital and it's like, yeah, you lost money because that's how insurance
That
works.
fucking sucks.
No, you get car insurance for your personal vehicle.
That's
yeah,
the
and then you have to
worst shit I've
spend
ever
money to
heard.
fucking, like,
Call
fix up
it
your car.
back. Yeah.
Do you have to go to court in
That would be
Do you-
GTA 6.
Do you have to go through the American justice system until you die?
You can't drive until you have your day in court to get your license reinstated, where you'll have to bribe the judge,
Yeah.
because there's no way you're getting out of that running over a
Or
child
you could threaten
charge.
them.
Yeah, or you could threaten them, but
Or-
you have to wait 3 weeks.
Honestly,
and you gotta walk or bike
That's
everywhere.
a huge
in the
oversight
meantime.
in the GTA
I could
games
do
is
it.
not being able to bribe police.
I think they should expand like the hot
That
coffee
never happened,
feature.
Preston.
Never.
The hot coffee feature.
Where you can fuck people, and maybe instead, like, you can like have a kid with somebody, and you have to go to like
Whatever happened
court.
to R-rated
You
You
Try
have
to
to go
get
to-
custody of your kid in GTA 6.
and it's like we can't give you the child. You were arrested last month for running over 30 individuals
Oh my
and
God.
killing down an
Cops.
entire division of police officers. We will not give you your child back. Honestly, I do not know why we cannot kill you. But you somehow are still free.
I feel like Grand Theft Auto is honed into the most boring part of like gangster movies, which is just like the mindless violence
Yeah.
and not.
Not the fun parts, like in Heat, where you have the guys just like look longingly and gaily at each other in a coffee
Facts.
shop.
Oh my god.
Like they're like, we're about to have our final confrontation. Let's meet up in this diner and stare wistfully into each
I
other's
haven't
eyes.
seen that.
It's great. It's Al Pacino, Robert De Niro. They're the cop and the robber, and they just like, the best actual. Yes, it has the best like gun.
Which one's
gun
the cop
scene.
and which one's the robber? Or are they both cop/robbers?
I can't remember which guy is
I'm-
which.
I'm
can't-
sorry.
They're just.
I'm sorry.
It's two Italian guys.
Yeah.
Really, they got the same face.
Well,
I'm
it's,
sorry I
it's
asked
like
you a simple question about the movie that you just
when
read.
your criminal has such a moral code and your officer is like so morally loose, they kind of meet in the middle, and then it's just like, they kind of will do the same shitty things, but they also kind of have the same values.
Aren't all cops like robbers?
Kind of. Facts.
Oh. Okay. Yeah.
Think about it. Come
I'm
on.
with it. I'm with it.
Okay, Al Pacino was the cop. Robert De Niro was the robber.
I can see that. Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
nice. It's very homoerotic and it's very fun. It's good. That's the good part of a heist movie. But you can't do that in GTA. You're just stealing a submarine or
You
Yeah.
can't
attacking a jetliner.
Yeah, just shooting a lot of police.
You're not allowed to make good movies anymore.
It's true.
Uh,
Well, actually, movies are kind of back.
Why?
Will Smith sacrificed himself on the altar of movies.
You're right.
Yeah.
He sacrificed himself on the altar of movies. He made everyone think, hey, maybe movies could be good again. And ever since then, movies have been kind of getting better. There's been some good movies.
Is the slap the Harambe of film?
Whoa.
Whoa. Well, that's
that
a
just
little
blew
too
my
deep
mind.
for
I don't
me.
even
There's a lot.
understand.
There's a lot going on there.
Is Harambe
The inverse Harambe, honestly. Because
Is
Harambe
Harambe
caused the
the slap
downfall
of
of
Zeus?
the West.
He died for all of us.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Wait.
you're right. We need like a third.
killed his
We need
ass.
to retcon it.
Second
into these.
Harambe knew Jesus.
Should we just vote for Harambe again this year?
Yeah.
Would that not be like a
You know
strong
why?
vote out option of this government if if a
I would
large
so
enough
do that.
chunk of people vote for Harambe instead of? I think that's what we should do.
Vote for a dead gorilla instead of some old decrepit man.
Here's what I'll tell you. I like Dick. I'm voting for Richard Milhouse Nixon, baby.
It's true, man.
Millhouse.
Yeah.
That was a conversation I didn't expect to ever have on this show, but I'm glad that it did.
No, Mr. Quinten, you have to understand, someone being like, my favorite guy is Nixon is a very bold play.
Hot take.
When
Better than Kennedy.
you're being introduced to a trans woman for the first time, you're like a minority, and you're getting in a car which you will be trapped in for 7 hours with a man. You're sitting next to him,
that's how
and
you start.
he turns and he looks at you and he says, "You know who I really like? Richard Milhouse Nixon." And then you're like, oh my god, what have I gotten myself into? I'm in a car with a bunch of total strangers and one person I met twice. And I'm like, God, this guy's gonna fucking kill me in my sleep, I think. And then we had to sleep in the same bed that night. It was
very
crazy.
awkward.
No, they're gonna get you addicted to crack, and then
I already
criminalize it.
I already did that once.
Yeah.
Oh wait, not. Oh, I can see what you're doing there. It wasn't crack, but
Where does a man even get crack anymore in this damn country?
In this
I-
fucking
In
economy.
yeah, seriously.
I got you, bro.
Hey, wait. Huh?
Huh?
Oh.
We live in a trap
Jackie, you've
house.
smoked parking lot weed.
I
I mean-
did. Oh yeah, you remember that? I found when Preston lived below me. I found.
You
some,
lived up there?
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Different location, different house,
okay,
different.
sorry.
You know, transporally, temporaneously. I found a bag of weed in a parking lot by our house, and I just fucking smoked that shit.
How was it?
It was actually really
And
good.
I was chilling, and Jackie was literally like, I have the fucking, rain blast. What the fuck is it?
God damn it, Preston.
That'll revive you.
Oh,
If
naloxone.
you-
Yeah, I had some
Yeah.
with me. So I was literally
What?
I'm gonna
What?
smoke it, and
What?
if it was like,
What are we talking about?
Jackie was
Narcan.
literally like, bring me back from the brink of death if this weed kills me. And I
Yeah.
was like, I got you.
because it was like by that
Resuscitate
we've been hearing
I'll
it, you
Uma
know,
Thurman you if I have to, alright?
that actually wouldn't have worked at all. That's not where you
Same-
stab one of those.
yeah,
You
very
would pop
different.
my fucking lung and
Okay.
I'd die. But anyway, there's a problem going on where like somehow people are getting weed that someone is coated with fentanyl. Which
Yeah.
no
I've heard
one
about
would
that.
ever really do unless they were like a cop or something.
Yeah,
probably.
literally.
Damn, that's
Um,
so true.
It's so true though. Anyway, so I was like, Preston, I'm gonna smoke this weed. If it's like a drop by like the Drug Enforcement Task Force that dropped it in this parking lot to just like kill off a college student, I need you to revive me.
I gotta make Fent seem scary somehow. I would fucking drop it off at the parking lot next to Stab and Grab. I mean, shit.
Yeah, it's true. It was but it was fine. It was good weed instead. And I was
It
like,
was.
I was
Yeah.
like, nice, cool, great find. People always say, keep your head up.
Yeah.
Nah, man, you
Nah,
gotta
keep
be,
your head down.
you gotta be looking at the ground to make sure you can.
How else are you gonna find that
score
parking lot, bud?
ground scores, man? Ground scores. It's good.
When I was a kid, I remember me and my friend went to the park. We just found like a plastic bag,
God
money.
damn
The
it.
fuck?
It was definitely drug money.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
A
Remember
bag
that
of money?
time we found a bag of heroin?
I
and
know, you pissed
the
me
park?
off.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Jackie kept trying to do it, and I was like, no,
Ah!
I'm gonna flush it down the toilet.
It was
Fuck that.
free.
Can't beat free.
I was like, I at least wanted to do like some experiment. I wasn't gonna actually do that.
Fuck off.
I was
Yeah,
gonna,
you-
I was gonna go get a testing kit. I
Yeah,
probably
you-
would have tested it.
You
And
were
then,
you were worried about
maybe.
you
Well,
were worried
okay.
about parking lot weed, but parking lot heroin.
Okay.
Yes.
Three statements.
Say
statements.
less.
I was in a very bad part of my life. This was during COVID. We were living in a house at the lowest point in an entire city, so it was just flooding all the time.
Shit.
Everything was really wet. My whole personality was essentially wet. It just like the phrase wet.
It was late pandemic, too.
Late pandemic, it was hot. Quinten had this fucking dumb shit idea where if you just leave every
Oh, no.
window open, that the house will actually be cooler. And I was starting to think I was gonna have to throttle him in his sleep so I could shut the damn windows for once. And also, I used to have a harm reduction nonprofit thing, and it's very good when you find some heroin. It is what you're supposed to do if you're one of these harm reduction people when you're going
Do
out.
it?
Test
No,
it.
The fuck
not
are you
do
talking
it.
about?
You test it, and if it's like, holy shit, this is just all fentanyl, you go to your local harm reduction agency and you go, hey, you gotta blast this out. Somebody's been selling fucking heroin that's just straight
Just
fent.
straight fit.
And then they'll blast it out to the network, and then people will know to check their shit.
Well, that's really nice of them.
Speaking of harm reduction.
Yeah, it is really nice of them, huh, asshole? And then maybe I would do it, okay? No, I wouldn't. Maybe I would. Maybe I wouldn't. It was a really bad time.
Let's talk about the election, goddammit. That's what we're here for.
Talk about the election.
All right, here's the deal.
Before we talk about that, how do you feel about contact highs, Quinten? Do you believe in them? Or
Are you feeling a contact high?
how would I be feeling a contact
He
high and
smoked
smoking
weed.
weed, you fucking fuck?
I don't think
I
it's
will-
generally real, but when I am around Jacky, it feels like I'm in a.
It's because
Like
they
a
emanate it,
third
alright? If
space.
you do it enough,
It's
you start
true.
sweating it, and then
The
it just like
THC,
comes
it
in
just
contact
travels,
with people
yeah.
around.
Yeah, I do exude kind of like a madness aura.
Same.
I don't smoke weed, but I have been told I act high all the time.
Yeah.
Sound high.
It doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
No, yeah, one of the biggest things about hanging out with my man Q here is that we'll be in these fucking just idiotic, just demonic style arguments, and he'll be saying these things, and I'll look at him and I'll go, "Are you fucking high? What are you talking about?" And then I realize I'm the high one, and he's not, but he sounds so much more
Role
high
reversal.
than me. So it's like, I go insane, man. The election, fellas, it's coming up. We're going to get to decide again the same choice we all made last time, except this
Yes.
time a bunch of other stuff has happened.
We have imperialism.
We have Genocide Joe, Sleepy Joe, Joseph Rubinet Biden, and then against him, the once and future king,
The orange one.
the Orange Man Bad,
The Orange King.
the Orange King,
The Lorax.
the Lorax,
Do you know about the Orange King and his Carcosa? Death is not the end, Jack.
Death is not the end. It's great. So here we are, Decision Desk 2024. What's the decision? Nothing.
I'm voting Harambe.
Vote uncommitted. Just
Yeah.
vote uncommitted in the upcoming primary.
So, I'm going to start with this. I think I'm going to vote for Biden. I'm not feeling too great about it. I think that the same platform is there for Biden this time as it was last time, which is not being Trump.
Which is that and saying they'll do things and not do them.
Okay,
But-
they did some stuff. And
Some,
But I almost guarantee that Trump's about to win.
but nothing.
That's all I'll say.
You know what? I've also seen some debate on whether or not that's a good thing. Because it's like, well, if we get it over with, they can't run again.
I was just thinking about that too. Like, if Trump had just won in
The last one,
term,
we would have been
and
fine.
he would be maxed out of term limits.
Then we just have the perennial question of, well, what do we even do about those?
Yeah.
I mean, look, here's how it's shaking out. It's really leaning Big Joe, Genocide Joe. It's leaning his way, but
For what?
the election, presidential
you voting
election.
or for
not
him
for me,
winning?
Yeah.
not for me voting. Look, man.
You're abstaining for real?
I'm gonna vote for everything else except that one.
Yeah.
That's valid.
Because
Exactly.
because like I refuse to participate in this game yet again.
Right?
Also, like we live in Kentucky.
Yeah.
So, like, the state, I used to live in Indiana, which is the first state that is called in every election, and it is always called for the GOP.
Yeah.
So there literally is no sense in even trying.
Except in 2008 when Barack Obama won Indiana.
which is
Got
crazy.
him.
Which
I
is
was
very-
talking about that the other day,
Or-
where it's like, we voted for Obama, so I guess there's no longer racism in America.
Like
which
how,
is just nuts.
Like how Georgia flipped too in the last
Right?
election. It was like, how the fuck is Georgia a blue state? How did that happen? But, you know, it really isn't impossible. Like, I think continuing to vote in Bashir as governor is proof to that.
Yeah, since I last was here, he did make me a Kentucky colonel. By the way, you got to put colonel in front of my name now.
Gotcha,
Colonel
gotcha.
Jacky.
Yeah, on the podcast. Anyway, but
How does
yeah,
that work? Is that like knighthood?
kinda.
Yeah.
I got a plaque. You know?
Yeah, this is exactly like knighthood then.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Salute.
Salute. At ease. So it's shaking out to look pretty well good for old Biden, but it's going to be
don't
far
believe that.
closer than it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
The guy who lost already once should not be this close.
Okay.
And the problem is,
But he's won already once too.
Yeah.
and well,
Yeah.
the problem is, it really is going to come down to these last remaining months, because with it so close, it can just start to shake out. You know, it's a very rough. It's like fucking 52 to 48.
Yeah.
Really, that it's shifted. It's leaning him, but it's not close enough to say that he's a shoo-in.
I really think Trump's gonna win, bro. I really think Trump's about to win.
We're at a real
And
glass half full, glass half empty.
I think that because
point.
the 2020 election was like all the last 4 years were fresh on people's mind, and it was like, well, this guy's been a brazen asshole that's on the news every day for some incendiary shit, and so everyone wanted to vote against him for that. And now Trump's almost been quiet, bro. What was the last thing you saw about Trump? Quote Trump saying some crazy shit.
They're really trying not to do it this time around, but the problem is he's grown his own media network now.
Yeah.
And also just, it's not even that he's like more popular than he ever has been. It's literally just nobody likes Joe.
Yeah.
If they just put Kamala in there, she'd be fucking shooing. It'd
I
be
don't
an
even
easy
see
win.
Possibly.
I don't think
Well,
so
this
either,
is
but I
true.
think he would be...
Women are hated. Women, nobody likes them.
Well, and women hate women too.
Yeah,
you know.
no, this
Fucking
is
hell.
minority
We need a woman hating woman. You must see Veep with Selena Meyer and Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Somehow
I
I'd
saw
be
that.
happier with Veep as the real political scenario than real life.
Yeah, you know what? You know, more of the same would be pretty nice right now.
Right?
It's just...
The whole thing is just weird because I think the main thing that got Biden elected was the whole COVID thing. I think Trump being so brazenly anti-COVID in the middle of a pandemic in the pandemic year, I think that a lot of people said, well, Joe's more of a serious politician, so we should go with him.
And
But
like
now no one gives a fuck about COVID.
you know, like a failed insurrection also really stains a person image, even though they're already like a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Just because
That-
there are enough center Republicans to be like, I don't know if I can vote for somebody who doesn't believe in democracy, even though I only believe in like some 2,000-year-old bullshit.
Problem is, those guys, there's really not that many of them, and also they generally...
But that's why it's like a
they'll
52 to
they'll-
48.
They'll
you
just
know?
vote for him anyway when it comes to it, because they're not going to vote for
Yeah,
fucking...
because
fucking
on the
Joe.
opposite end of vote blue no matter who is vote red no matter what. You know?
Here's the very unscientific data I have. Preston, do you think there are more progressives behind Joe Biden this time around, or less progressive behind Joe Biden this time around?
What do you mean by progressive?
Democrat voting motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Biden's base. Do you think it's more people or less people, or about the same?
Or people
What
who
about
would
y'all?
vote like?
What about, Preston
wouldn't
doesn't have
vote?
an answer. What do you
Do you
think?
mean like people who wouldn't vote?
Oh my
or
god!
Like,
It was a very simple question.
What?
Just in general, in total, you know.
there's so many shades of blue on the fucking Democrat side.
It's true. It's
that
true.
it's
hard to
because it's
predict.
less firm than just
What do you
fucking
think?
scarlet red no matter what. You know.
Yeah.
One must consider the humble woman.
Well,
Who
Preston,
cares about reproductive rights, which Trump's, judicial branch just kind of
Yeah.
got rid of, and they're
emaciated, like...
folks, they're really pissed about it.
Yeah, people.
Yeah,
This
that's
is true. The midterm elections was supposed to be really good for them, and they got just absolutely walloped.
but I also don't think that people blame Trump for that, even though they probably should.
I mean,
he
really,
made
I think the women's
because more
fault,
people would be
dude.
like, Biden didn't do shit about codifying,
Yeah,
Roe
that
Wade,
shit,
like,
that shit got fucked up on Biden's watch.
Literally.
Even if that's
and that's how people
flawed
view
logic.
presidency, where it's like literally any fucking thing that happens while you're president is somehow your fault, even if it's been set up for decades.
I
by
believe
the opposite.
this is definitely good thinking, but I think it is enough of a mobilizing factor for enough people to where that if they just wouldn't have voted. They wouldn't vote for Trump, but they also just wouldn't have voted if they didn't have a mobilizing factor.
But I think that anybody's that sort of center on either side is not willing to not vote or vote, undetermined. Like,
yeah.
anybody who's center on either side is, well, it's a democracy and I have to vote for somebody. It's my duty as a citizen to fucking vote for some schmuck who's not going to do jack shit.
What you were saying a second ago was actually where I was taking that hypothetical question is the conservatives, the Republicans, whatever you want to call them, are banding together. They're the exact same amount of Trump fans right now as there were back when he was first originally
I
running.
disagree.
Maybe.
You think people have jumped off the train?
I think they're all mixed up, dude. You look at a guy like Vivek, he's just saying crazy stuff, and they love it.
He really does say some batshit stuff.
It was so funny to me when he was like, we need to put God back in the classroom, and it's like, which God? You're fucking Indian. Like, Ganesha? Like, come on, bro.
Well, and so, for him even, it's like the whole anti-immigrant stuff, and it's like, bro, do you hear yourself?
He should have just been a Democrat. He would have
killed
now.
Yeah, he would have fucking killed
I don't
it.
think so. I think
He could have been saying the same bullshit.
I think they were gonna
some
prop
fucking
Joe out there no matter what.
I mean,
well,
that is kind of the whole thing. Is like old people on either side,
But the amount that they actually do is so different because I feel like what Biden has done in his term. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't really know how much he has really done in office. But to me, someone who doesn't follow this shit, it doesn't seem like he did a lot over his term, except for reversing Trump.
Well, when you make a lot of bullshit promises and you're just like, I'm gonna cancel all student debt.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fucking, I don't know, fucking not do anything about women's rights. Fucking.
Here's the real nightmare scenario, which is
we're there, baby.
No.
We're in the nightmare mode.
So Biden did all this. Biden did all this Bidenomics stuff. Build back better. Bipartisan infrastructure plan. If this stuff actually works and improves the economy, imagine if Trump wins and all of the good stuff that Biden did gets attributed to Trump instead. Not,
Hey, it's happened before.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. But my big thing on the whole, the economy is some, people's views on it is bullshit statistics that were originally never meant to be a basis for the economic state of our nation. And for other things, it's literally like, I don't know, legalize cannabis, fucking build public rail systems, fucking do actual shit that would give people jobs and would fucking, create new branches of the economy. Like, if you fucking internationally legalized cannabis, there'd be so many fucking jobs. There'd be so many motherfuckers trying to start a cannabis company.
We can't legalize it internationally.
Right? Which is insane. But it's one of those things where it's like, if some person got elected, I keep thinking about this as a possibility for the future, where it's like, if somehow the status quo is maintained for so long, some motherfucker could just run on some bullshit platform that they know would get them elected and then straight up executive order everything. Be like, you know what? We're legalizing cannabis internationally. Yeah. We're building a fucking new public fucking transportation on fucking trains and trolleys or some bullshit.
Two things about executive orders. The first thing about executive orders is that they can easily be undone by the next sitting president who may be the opposite party.
But 4 years is enough time where
It's
if you
true.
fucking go
Get
for
it settled. The second thing about executive orders, you know, there's a man who went ahead and he created legislation. He wrote it at the president's, at the executive level, and then he sent it to Congress. And he's one of the last people to really do it. And that's Richard motherfucking Nixon. When the EPA was
full
created,
circle, baby.
When the EPA was created, it was created at Nixon's desk. It came from the executive branch. It was proposed at Congress by his fellas, and it was passed. And
Trump
so,
did a lot of executive orders too.
yeah, instead of executive orders, we need the president's office to be one where they are proposing the legislation, and then that will get people voting for the
They
Democratic
can
Party.
do that. They just don't anymore, but you can be like, I'm the president. Here's the bill.
I know.
Here's the bill. I wrote the damn thing.
Here's what's gonna happen, guys.
Biden
I don't
can't
care
do
what
that.
you think.
Yeah, but he could, but
But he won't.
Biden couldn't
won't.
sit down and read that. Neither could Trump. His hands are too tiny.
this is okay. This is the wrinkle to all of this. Both of these men, no matter what way, whether there's more Trump supporters or not,
Yeah, no
whether
matter how you
there's
cut
more,
it.
no matter how you cut it, there is the mitigating factor of they got to make it to November, and these guys, they are shutting down.
Okay, wait.
They are.
Because that's exactly how I feel
Biden's
about this.
shutting down.
If Biden gets
I don't
elected
think
again,
Trump's
Trump
shutting.
has to die in the next 4 years. I'm sorry, CIA. I don't mean any of this. This podcast is a joke, all right?
Well, okay.
We don't
My
mean that
social
we're
credit
gonna.
score
We
just
don't
went
mean
down,
that we're gonna
but,
kill
like-
Trump. Let's make that 100%
However-
clear. He
Yeah.
might die of natural causes. He might
Well, yeah. This
he
is
might
the,
get AIDS
The
from
first
all of
death
the.
by small hands.
This is the tip. It seems like if you really watch his stuff now, he's still got the same like energy level.
Yeah,
But it's making a little bit less sense.
yeah.
He was
The
always
man-
capping though.
I
He
know,
was
but
always
the man, but now he's like capping, not egregiously, but in a sort of slower way. He's having senior moments.
Biden
And-
has gone full Mitch McConnell.
Well, this is
Biden has
the
He
thing.
gone
has
all
been.
the way off the deep end. So I
But
just
he
think
has
it's a
it
different
in
level.
him still. If you watch the State of the Union, he did kind of pull off. He was just pissed the whole time.
Yeah.
Because they probably shot him full of steroids or some shit.
Yeah.
I'll
I did see a
have-
lot of shit that was like, give me whatever he's on.
They
I'll
gave
have
him.
what
They
he's
gave him
having.
weed.
Yeah.
They gave him weed, and it made him anxious and mad.
Yeah, but
and he just started
but-
ranting on camera.
But this doesn't
I haven't
change
seen
the
that.
fact that, like, for weeks prior, like, one, you never see him, so it makes it seem like they don't want you to see him, which makes you think.
Yeah.
Lets the mind
Yeah.
wander.
Exactly
Yeah.
like they did Kim Jong Un when he died.
And
oh
then
my
when
god, right?
and then when you do see him, he usually is just being an old dipshit.
Yeah.
And then he had the one official function he has to do every year, and
Uh-huh.
he killed it. And we haven't really seen the man since then. He's not really doing. He's not doing any
And
so
shit.
If it was like, you know, he's working in secret, if he moves in silence, whatever, then we would hear some of the tangible things that he's doing.
But no, they just have him powered down.
Yeah.
In the motherfucking.
But you don't
in the
really hear
motherfucking
anything.
residence.
You don't
I
hear
think
anything.
we've gotten to straight fucking feudalism where it's literally just like getting
Two-
cracked up.
Two ancient men.
Yeah.
Two just incredibly old guys. One of them still has he might not have his wits, but he's got the energy.
Yeah.
The other one, he still kind of has the wit, but his body is breaking
Yeah,
down.
but he's actually
he's
got
actually
like a
dying.
stutter, like
Do
Yeah.
you remember when Trump paid a doctor guy from the army to get up on the podium and say that he was the healthiest man that he had ever seen in his life? Do you remember that?
1 pound under obese.
yeah.
See, this is the thing. He might seem well, but you guys got to remember the guy only eats McDonald's. You can't. I get it. I understand that everyone's
He
like,
looks rough. You're not getting me wrong.
everyone's been saying that since 2016. They're like, oh, he only eats McDonald's. Oh, he only eats McDonald's. And he lived, and he's still alive. It's 2024.
And it's like 10
It's like
years
Warren
later.
Buffett.
But this is the thing. You
Or like
can't.
Stephen Hawking.
There
It's
is
like,
no.
damn,
There
bro.
has to be somewhere on the chart where you just hit a wall and die from eating McDonald's every day. It's possible.
I've
It
seen
is
Super Size
possible
Me.
he could live a while. He could perhaps even make it through 4 years. But it's impossible to know when that wall is. We are just
so it could
going.
be 6 years.
We're just going with God,
How-
hoping he'll make it 4.
Okay, wait.
How old are these guys in comparison to other presidents? Are these two of the older?
Oldest.
They're
They're
both
both
no
the
matter
oldest.
who is elected, it will be the oldest.
Let's go.
So fucked up.
We're in fucking uncharted territory here. I
Yeah.
kind of want to see it happen now. I want to see what happens when a president completely fucking loses it.
Just shits
one
in
year.
his pants.
Starts talking like it's still Vietnam.
Folks, it's all about the VPs here. Really?
Yeah.
Really,
For
it
real.
actually is.
So that's
Wait.
what I was about to say. If Pence is no longer,
Yeah, he's out.
He's out.
he's out.
No, there's a short list.
So who the fuck?
Here, we'll get into
Is
the
Trump
short
CP?
list. We'll get into the short
Let's
list.
get
but
Rudy
first,
Giuliani.
we
up
gotta
there.
talk.
Wait.
We gotta talk Kamala because there's some momentum. She's got the K Hive has momentum.
I think she's beautiful.
Quinten,
I
please
concur. I concur.
vamp on Kamala while I pull up the.
I also
VP
think her
short
daughter, Ella Emhoff, beautiful. That's all I know, man. I see. If we're gonna elect a woman president, she's got to be hot.
For sure.
Facts.
Am I wrong?
That's how this country works.
Because that's why Hillary didn't win. Let's be
Yeah.
honest here. Let's talk about
Okay.
how Biden found a badder bitch.
Hillary, when she was younger, though, was kind of hot.
Oh
Like,
my
she was
god.
she's pretty.
Hottest take I've ever heard on the pod.
Nah, she's right.
She
She's
looked
right.
like, as you would define it, like queer today.
Jesus.
It's the
She
bob.
had big glasses.
The glasses.
Yeah, and the bob too. I mean,
Oh my god.
she would be like a she, they today.
That is insane.
Oh my god.
I would
Hottest
also like
take.
to say when AOC comes of age.
Oh
man,
my god.
That's gonna be one sexy
Comes of
president.
age.
Me and Jacky have seen AOC, and I will guarantee she is that tall and she's that beautiful.
It's true. We shook the woman's hand
One-
together. She sounds just like that. You would think that it was just the TV. It's not. We also saw Bernie at the same time.
I've seen Bernie
One
before.
word, 4 letters
Short.
for AOC.
Short.
Aura.
Or
That's all I have
Got
to
it.
say.
Yeah, she does have it. Okay, so do you want to
She's
hear?
got Latina girl magic.
So we got Kamala. We got the coconut tree. She's ready to jump in. She's more prepared. She's more poised than anyone, despite everyone still
the most
kinda hating her.
coherent of any politician.
Yeah, because it's like it can't be Pete because they made that documentary and now everyone thinks he's pathetic.
Yeah.
Also,
I
that
didn't see the
train
documentary.
fucking exploded
What?
and everyone got mad at
What
him.
do they say in the Mayor Pete documentary?
Oh, it just shows his life, but it seems like Oppo made it because it just makes him look so
Like a putz.
like a boring, like a boring
Exactly.
idiot. But to save on time, I do have the short list here. Are you ready? The potential Trump VP pick. The short list has started to get long list.
Please be Newt Gingrich.
No, we don't got the guy on there.
Okay.
We got Senator Tim Scott
Oh yeah. I can
of
see that.
Florida. Senator Tim Scott of
Oh.
Florida. He ran for president and dropped out earlier.
Oh.
Elise Stefanik, which is
I
like
don't know
she's a representative and she's like a younger woman.
Okay.
But she's not really hot, so.
Not gonna happen, folks.
Now the real pick that I see a lot of people talking about, Senator J.D. Vance of Hillbilly Elegy fame, that fucking weird freak, that demented psychopath, who's now a senator from Ohio. Now the what I really wish would just happen, Ben motherfucking Carson.
I would love it.
That would be insane.
We bring Ben Carson back into play. We bring Ben. It's like in Yu-Gi-Oh when you
exactly no.
When you pull a card from the graveyard, we bring Ben Carson back into play.
I thought you were about to go somewhere else because what I was about to say was anime season 1 villain, season 4 hero.
Yeah, like he's back.
Yeah.
He's back. Ben motherfucking Carson. I want his quiet, soothing. Well, you gotta see him.
Yeah, real soft spoken.
Isn't it weird that he doesn't have a VP pick at all yet?
Yeah, he should have definitely had one. But
It's
the
himself.
6 months till
It's his
the
wife.
election.
Now the failed Senate candidate Carrie Lake who lost.
Who?
And yeah, a loser. It's not gonna be her,
Loser.
but a loser.
She's a loser, folks. I'm not picking her.
Loser.
Vivek Ramaswamy.
Yes.
Ramaswamy.
I love
Funniest possible pick.
Really?
Real funny
Look,
zone culture.
If
Not
we're gonna
funnier
have
than Ted Cruz.
If we're gonna have a president
Rudy.
who's like Asian, it's gonna be a like grind set Indian guy. I believe it 100%.
Yeah.
From the Brahmin
It
class.
appeases to the young
Mike
voter.
Mike
You know?
Pence was scary. I'm glad that he's out of the fold.
He looks
Governor
like a Men in Black alien. Like
Governor Kristi Noem from Montana.
Who?
She's currently in a controversy. No, I don't know actually, but she's currently in a controversy for doing an ad without tagging it as an ad on her Instagram for some sort of Texas dental clinic. I don't know. She's being sued.
We have 4 minutes left.
Oh, I know. I'm powering through them.
go.
Governor Greg Abbott, the guy where a
shit.
tree. The Texas governor who God tried to kill once and he didn't get the picture somehow. A tree just fell and
Honestly-
crushed him. Senator Katie Britt, never fucking heard of her.
Yeah.
Don't have a bit. Who? Representative Byron Donalds, who looks like who's that guy that has the curtain beard and like the black glass, the rapper? The curtain beard and the
Rapper
beige
with a
square.
Keep going.
He just kind of looks like that. Sarah Huckabee Sanders. who's
Okay,
former-
okay.
Yes.
Yes.
That's her name.
Fuck,
I
bring her
recognize.
back.
God damn it.
Fuck,
Hey.
she's so bad.
Hey, she was decent. I'm
America-
just
so
saying,
bad.
I'm just gonna
America.
put it out in the ethos. Sarah B. Huckabee Sanders. I mean, I'm not saying, but here we have it.
America loves
At
a
least
big.
it's somebody we heard of.
America loves a big lady.
Goddamn
Like-
Statue of Liberty
the
type
Statue of
shit.
Liberty, that's-
And then of course Nikki Haley.
Yeah.
I'm going down to so Britt is the person who delivered the State of the Union, the response. Byron Donalds, he's only been in Congress since 2021, and he passes the loyalty test. Trump has a loyalty test right now.
Trump has a Meet
where
the Fockers
he-
type circle where it's like you're in or you're out.
Does the vice president candidate even matter? Like, people are gonna vote for Trump. They're gonna vote for Trump.
Well,
It matters if one of them
here's
old-ass
his
motherfuckers dies.
here's his loyalty test. He states that he is willing to, as vice president, not certify the 2028 election results. He is willing to do what the president
Say
wants.
you don't believe in democracy.
Yeah, but he said that. So
Fuck
if
yeah.
that's really
If Trump doesn't get elected, that's gonna be why, because of the insurrection, not because of anything else.
Yeah.
And rightfully so. But I do think that, like, all the court shit with Trump, all the failed, desperate attempts to get him off of the ballot, it's just fueling the fire.
Yeah.
And and the supporters are crazier than ever.
Honestly,
and there's more of them.
for me, it's like, I don't believe in this system because a motherfucker who's, like, could be jailed eventually for some real shit that fucking happened is still up for election. Just because it's in court and
Yeah.
due process, air quotes, is some bullshit. It's literally like, how the fuck is a motherfucker even running if they're in court, if they could be arrested?
From ancient China to today, they have
Exactly.
what's called a civil service exam, where you have to pass a test if you really want to be a part of the bureaucracy. And I think America would really benefit from that.
Absolutely. Oh my god.
Trump would never pass any kind of test whatsoever, as long as it was proctored right.
Yeah.
Nothing.
He knows how to grease the pockets, though. He'd
Yeah.
give the Proctors a $1 billion case of
It's
champagne.
you know what? I'll give you a political position, and you'll be unstoppable, just
How
like
do you
me.
feel about the Department of Education?
All right, so the best choice right now for him's looking like Mr. Tim Scott. It might possibly be him.
Literally who?
The follow-up is, of course, Elise Stefanik is the chair of the House Conference, and he told allies in December that she's a killer. And J.D. Vance has been quoted by Donald Trump Jr. as who he'd really love to see.
This means nothing.
That means nothing.
Yeah,
No
really.
one gives a shit. Ben Carson is actually number 4 on the list because he just literally has never been disloyal in any way whatsoever. He's never stopped believing.
He doesn't have the ability.
Mostly because I don't think he has the higher functioning to think his way out of being.
He's a worker ant, if
He's
you
a
will.
brain surgeon. Don't disrespect the man.
Yeah,
He's
hands
a
of God.
genius.
Hands of God. Anyway, it was lovely to having.
It was great to have y'all on.
Biden might win.
Trump might win.
Trump might win.
All right, official predictions right now. Who's gonna win?
Shit.
None of us.
Yeah.
That's the right answer.
Everybody fucking loses. Probably.
I'm riding with Biden.
Yeah, it's probably going to actually just be Biden, but it'll be really shitty. All right, let's
got
see.
Trump.
I'm flipping a coin for the podcast listeners.
Well, you have to. You didn't call it.
Yeah.
I'm saying tails, Trump. Tails.
Yes.
Damn it!
Fuck!
Flip it again. Flip it again.
No, I don't
That's
think
2 out of 3! Tails!
Well, see you
It's on a
guys.
3, right?
1/3 chance.
Was it tails again?
It was tails again.
Oh man,
This is
Fuck!
this
That's
is
not
very
good.
bad.
Louis,
This
we
is
make
very
this shit
bad.
happen on the podcast.
Oh shit! Delete it. Delete it.
Delete the episode. This can't be released.
see you all next time. Bye bye.